In yesterday's game against the Houston Rockets, this block by LeBron James with 11 seconds left absolutely helped flip this game. It allowed the Los Angeles Lakers to hold on to the lead. It was a play that was designed by the Rockets to take advantage of a smaller Austin Reeves. Today we're going to talk about not only what LeBron James showed kind of on the defensive side, we'll watch some of the tape, but we also got an update on Luka Doncic. We have an update on kind of the standings, which we'll get into all of that in this video. I'm excited for this one, but let's start right away with that moment where LeBron James had a massive block. And it starts before the actual block. If you guys watch the actual play, LeBron James actually starts by covering Sengun, who's going to end up going and screening Austin Reeves, which is going to end up getting LeBron James and VanVleet on a switch. You can see LeBron and Reeves kind of call it out together. LeBron calls it out first, Reeves kind of confirms it, and they end up switching. And this is a smart play by LeBron because LeBron recognizes that VanVleet's more likely if he has a couple of feet of space to shoot that three-pointer. And the fact you're down by 4 with 11 seconds left, if you score a three-pointer, you're in a situation where even if the Lakers end up hitting both free throws after you foul them, they can only still be up by one possession, but the Rockets took the opposite approach. Instead of trying to shoot that three, they wanted that switch to happen, where they knew Sengun would have the opportunity to end up scoring on a much smaller Austin Reeves. And LeBron James recognizes this. Right, Sengun quickly gets the ball, 11 seconds left, the clock starts to tick down. He ends up going up to score and potentially score 2 points over a much smaller defender. And LeBron James comes over the top and absolutely blocks the shot. And the ball goes out of bounds. There's about 7.5, 8 seconds left. But that mental processing and IQ and just how quickly LeBron recognizes kind of what's happening to me is impressive as hell. LeBron James is an absolute superstar player. And even at 40 years old, this guy's impacting games. Like, I would argue yesterday the biggest impact was the fact that LeBron James on the defensive side pretty much dominated. And there are so many moments even leading up to kind of where we were at the end of the game. LeBron James had a couple other blocks. He had a couple other steals. He had a couple of defensive plays over the course of that game. He also did a really nice job in his individual matchup. LeBron hasn't shown us the type of effort he showed us yesterday in weeks prior, right? And maybe that was part of the fact that this guy hasn't been fully healthy, right? He was out for about 2 to 3 weeks, and he just got back a couple games back. But LeBron James on the defensive side changed yesterday's game. He was 8 of 17 in his matchup whenever the guy he was covering would shoot. And the guy just showed so much effort. And, you know, every single shot that LeBron James was basically going up against the guy, he contested it. Right? He had multiple contested shots. He had 6, which was the second most in yesterday's game. LeBron James on the defensive side changed this game. But it's not just on the defensive side. You know, LeBron James is a very, very smart player. And he made the right plays in the right moment. I want to take you guys back to a point where there are 2 minutes left in this game. The score is 98 to 95, and LeBron's going to end up driving. You're going to see that the defense is going to kind of look at LeBron. They're going to try to swarm or potentially blitz him, and he quickly recognizes Rui Hachimura is wide open, and the pass is just a beautiful pass to Rui, who easily scores 2 points. To me, that's a very, very good play by LeBron James, right? It's an assist when it's 98 to 95. The Rockets are trying to get that stop. It's late in the game. And LeBron James does what LeBron James has always kind of shown us to do, right? The guy makes all the smart plays. He's really, really situationally aware. But there were more moments outside of that one play. A few possessions later, LeBron James ends up switching onto VanVleet. Now, keep in mind the Lakers at this point are up 95 to 100. There's probably 3 possessions left per team. So every stop at this point absolutely matters. And LeBron does a phenomenal job. High effort, stays right on top of VanVleet. We know how fast and quick he is, especially going to the basket. LeBron stays right on top of it. And late in the shot clock, right, there's like 3-4 seconds left. VanVleet ends up passing it out because he understands LeBron's just all over it. He has no way to score. And they do end up scoring on this possession, right? Thompson ends up scoring 2 points. But LeBron James and the guy he was covering specifically gets shut down. And again, it's not always going to lead to you not scoring points when you do something positive on defense. But LeBron James has done so many positive things on defense. And it's really, really, really helped the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, they end up scoring. It's 97 to 100 a couple possessions later. The Rockets get onto this fast break opportunity. They could easily end up being down just 1 point if they're able to kind of score this. Again, VanVleet's a guy that's known to be able to kind of go to the basket and score points. And Austin Reeves, you got to give Austin Reeves a lot of credit for this one, man. Ends up fouling VanVleet and does not give him the 2 free points. Instead, he says you got to go out there and earn it. Got to go to the free throw line and earn those 2 points. And he ends up missing one of the 2 free throws. So The Lakers get a huge win right there on that fast break opportunity. VanVleet versus Austin Reeves. Reeves does the smart thing by fouling. So now, instead of being down only one, they end up going down two, and now they're in a situation where they got to foul the Lakers. And of course, this is LeBron James just kind of being LeBron James. He calls for the ball, he gets fouled, goes to the line, nothing but net on both of them, right? Just a phenomenal job by LeBron to be able to hit those in the clutch moment. 11 seconds left, and then that's when the block ended up coming, right? So that was kind of the sequence at the end of the game, right? LeBron James, what we're seeing from this guy and the way he's playing basketball is really, really, really impressive. And we got to give credit to LeBron James. And we got to give credit where credit is due. LeBron James, the effort he showed yesterday, I don't know if at 40 years old he's going to be able to show that effort over the course of his career at this point, consistently. But right now is the time where it's basically playoff basketball as you go forward, right? Even though it's the regular season, every single one of these games matters. It's the difference between having like the number 4 or 5 seed and the number 2 seed potentially, right? And of course, the win against the Rockets yesterday was a massive win for the Lakers. But it wasn't just LeBron James that had a good game yesterday. You got to give a lot of credit to a lot of different guys. And I want to kind of just get into some of these other guys you got to give credit to. Dorian Finney-Smith and Gabe Vincent, man, these two guys have been really, really solid the past couple of games. And both guys have been playing more and more, right? They've kind of seen their minutes rise a little bit. And we're also kind of starting to see the Lakers rotation actually start to come together. We talked about this in the video, I believe, yesterday when we talked about the Lakers rotation. But I think at this point, based off of what we saw, and that too, like the defensive effort by all of these different guys, I think we're at the point where we can actually say this is what you're going to get from the Lakers as we go forward. So the big update that I would say as the Lakers go forward that we're going to get a ton of is Jaxson Hayes will probably end up playing a lot less minutes. You can see that he only played 14 minutes in yesterday's game, and this has kind of been the trend over the last, I think, 6 games. He's played 18 minutes or less in basically 4 of the last 6. So I think as we go forward, Jaxson Hayes is just, he's going to be a rotational guy. He might start out there for the Lakers, but he'll probably come off the court pretty quickly. And then I think he'll probably have one more opportunity after that, right, to really get in there and get some minutes. But outside of Jaxson Hayes, you're seeing those minutes come down, but you're starting to see Gabe Vincent and Dorian Finney-Smith's minutes go up. And I think it's a good trade-off because although you're getting smaller, you're also getting guys that can hit three-point shots. Yesterday, the big difference in that game, in my opinion, was the fact that Dorian Finney-Smith goes 6 of 11 from the three-point line. Gabe Vincent goes 6 of 13. Think about that. You're getting 12 of 24 shots being converted from the three-point line by just those two guys. Both guys off the bench. Both guys that, you need them to hit those shots. When Luka drives, when Austin Reeves drives, when LeBron drives, you need those catch and shooters, right? You need those guys to ultimately hit their shots. And it wasn't perfect yesterday, right? Let's just be 100% honest. Luka was 1 of 7. Austin Reeves was 0 of 3. And Rui Hachimura was 1 of 6. Between those guys right there, that's a lot of three-point opportunities that are basically missed. 16 three-point opportunities. And you end up basically only hitting 2 of those 16 three-point opportunities. To me, that's really, really, really bad. 2 of 16 from the three-point among those 3 guys. But the good thing with that is you still end up winning the game, right? So even though you kind of struggled from the three-point line, you still won the game at the end of the day, and you still end up, being able to beat the Rockets. And just imagine if those 3 guys, you shoot 16 three-pointers. Imagine if you just hit 30% of those. Right, you hit 5 or 6 of those 3-point shots. That puts you in a much wider spread against the Rockets, right? You win by a bigger margin, I should say. So to me, the Lakers can still continue to improve. The Lakers can still continue to get better. And again, with the rotation, it is kind of interesting because we're also seeing Jared Vanderbilt's playing a lot less, right? And I think that's one of the interesting things that has kind of happened the past couple of days. In fact, I'm going to just pull it up really quickly. You guys can see from a minute perspective, and this guy's going down to 10 minutes. He was playing 19, 16, the 2 previous games before the last 2. And even before that, Jared Vanderbilt was playing at some point, 25 to 30 minutes a game, right? 2 or 3 weeks back, that's literally what this guy was playing. And it seems like that's kind of switched a little bit. And I've also seen a lot of Lakers fans criticizing Jared Vanderbilt on Twitter. A lot of people are like, hey, the Lakers got to move off of Vando. It just doesn't make sense to keep him on this team because he is limited on the offensive side. And although I do agree that he is limited on the offensive side, always remember injuries do happen, right? Guys do get hurt. And I also want to kind of recognize, when you look at a guy like Vanderbilt, depending on the matchup, he could be absolutely massive, right? He could be a key player, a key person within the rotation, depending on the matchup, right? If a team has two superstars, you need a guy that can defend. You need a second guy specifically that can defend. We know Dorian Finney-Smith's pretty solid on the defensive side. LeBron definitely proved yesterday that he still has it when he's able to put that effort in. But just having different guys that can kind of do different things, I think, is something that we do have to kind of keep in mind. And then just to wrap up the rotation aspect of it, I think the Lakers are going to play a lot more small ball as we go forward, and I think it just kind of works for them. Rui Hachimura isn't super small by any means, obviously, right? But the guy can score. He can shoot. He played almost 31 minutes in yesterday's game, and we do have to realize this guy's not fully healthy, right? He's still kind of trying to get back into it. And I think he's getting close at this point, but, being 3 of 10 isn't great, but it's going to get better. There will be a game here, right? This guy's a rhythm shooter where I think at some point this guy's going to end up, hitting 60% of his shots. He'll be 6 of 10 instead of 3 of 10. That's going to be the difference in a game. I do want to go ahead and switch focus now. I do want to go ahead and kind of get into Luka's injury because we do have an update coming out here. Now, if you guys did not know, Luka ended up falling down, and when he fell down, he definitely hit that elbow pretty hard. And when that moment happened, people were like, damn, you can tell Luka Doncic is in pain. And part of why he may not have had the best efficiency on the offensive side yesterday, it could have been because of the elbow. Now, it was the left elbow, which is the non-shooting elbow, but I think when you're shooting a shot, if either one of your elbows is hurting, it's going to impact how many points you eventually scored and the efficiency in the shot, generally speaking. But Luka was asked about the elbow. He did have it wrapped as well after the game. Check out what he had to say.
Hey, Luka, first of all, it looked like you fell a couple times on that elbow. How's that feeling?
Terrible. Terrible. Yeah, but fine in 2 days.
So there you guys have it, right? Luka is basically telling us that although it feels terrible right now, he will be fine in 2 days from now. Now, I'm not going to take Luka's word for it, to be honest with you guys. The fact that he has it wrapped up, to me, tells me that, it obviously hurts, right? There's something going on, and we kind of saw the efficiency on the offensive side fall a little bit as well. So I do think that as we kind of go forward, we're going to have to just kind of keep an eye on the elbow. Now, one of the benefits the Lakers do have right now is they have 2 days off, right? They're off today, which is Tuesday, and they're off once again on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, they'll play the Golden State Warriors. So hopefully Luka is fine in 2 days from now, right? Hopefully he's 100% healthy, he's ready to go. That's going to be another big game for the Lakers. Obviously, the Warriors have had their struggles this season, but they're still a good basketball team, right? They still have some good players, and it's not going to be super easy to get that win for the Los Angeles Lakers. We'll see what ends up happening with the elbow. I'm sure we'll get some sort of update as we kind of go forward. Let's talk a little bit about the Lakers' schedule, specifically the standings and kind of the strength of the schedule as we go forward. So right now, the Lakers are in the 4th spot. They have a good, comfortable 2-game lead ahead of the Memphis Grizzlies. And they are 1 game behind the Nuggets, and they're 2.5 games behind the Houston Rockets. Now, the good thing with the Rockets for the Lakers is you have played 1 less game than the Rockets at this point. Plus, you also play them 1 more time. And then the Rockets also do play the Denver Nuggets. I believe that's the final game of the season for both of those teams. So for the Lakers, there's a real chance you can end up getting that number 2 seed. You have to win that 1 extra game, and you have to beat the Rockets, and that'll put you about half a game behind the Rockets. You have to get a lead ahead of the Nuggets as well, right? It's another thing to kind of keep in mind. And then the Nuggets have to beat the Rockets in that final game of the season. Now, it's not going to be easy by any means, right? Truth be told, the Lakers still have a very, very, very tough schedule. The Rockets are right underneath the Lakers in terms of the tough schedule. You can see the Lakers have a strength of schedule of 5-8-6. The Houston Rockets have a 5-7-3. It is a difference of 1 game here. And the Nuggets do have a much easier path, right? They have the 9th hardest schedule, right? Which is a lot easier than having the 3rd for the Lakers. But the Lakers have already beat the Houston Rockets, and they play them 1 more time. You do have the Oklahoma Thunder twice. That's going to be 2 really, really, really tough games for the Lakers. But I will say this, if you're able to beat OKC, if you're able to beat that team, especially given the fact that might be the team that's going to come out of the West, right? That might be the final before the championship. That might be what it is in terms of the conference championships for the Lakers. So those 2 games are going to be playoff games, basically, right? And we're going to find out a lot about the Lakers. Now, obviously, you're never going to get the number 1 seed, right? It's just not statistically possible. But those 2 games will be huge for the Lakers. And if you're able to win those games, I think it really sets you forward. But the strength of schedule is going to be difficult for the Lakers. And let's go ahead and wrap this video up. I want to talk to you guys about something that Chris Vernon, an NBA expert, insider, whatever you want to call him, I want to talk about something that he said yesterday. And I want to talk about if this actually is a fact. He basically put it out there saying that the Lakers' playoff hopes are basically affected because of the failed Mark Williams trade. He's basically saying that for the Lakers, they should have wanted that trade to kind of go through. And I'm going to quote exactly what this guy said. Chris Vernon said that I think they're going to regret calling off the Mark Williams trade. Not that he's like freaking Bill Russell, but my God, they have nothing at the rim. Nothing. I think Memphis had damn near 70 points in the paint last night. I mean, there's just nothing once you drive past him. Reeves, you can drive past. LeBron, is not the defensive stalwart that he once was. Maybe that'll change in the playoffs. There's nobody really there to dissuade you. They'll play Jaxson Hayes. They'll play Vandal. They'll play whoever. Somebody that can get to the basket a lot is going to give them problems. I want to talk about what Chris Vernon is kind of saying and if this is factually true. Will the Los Angeles Lakers actually struggle when the playoffs come around because of the fact that they don't have a true rim defender? Now, they do have Jaxson Hayes, right? Jaxson Hayes is he's an okay player. He's athletic. He can definitely defend shots, but he's not the type of rim defender that someone like Anthony Davis was. And we know that to be factually true. And even the Lakers, to a point, know that to be factually true because they tried trading for Mark Williams. They're willing to give up Dalton, Knecht in that trade and in a couple other pieces. But the Lakers wanted Mark Williams because they also kind of understood, hey, we don't really have a rim defender. And Mark Williams could be a guy that could potentially help us as we kind of get into the playoffs. Matchup dependent. He's a guy that could potentially block some shots. And I kind of agree with Chris Vernon on what he's saying, but I also disagree in a different aspect. I understand that the Lakers from at the rim might not have the type of shot defender that they once had, right? And Anthony Davis as the season kind of started. Mark Williams would have been he would have been an upgrade over Jaxson Hayes, specifically defending the rim. And we're already seeing Jaxson Hayes' minutes fall, right? We already see that the Lakers recognize, are we better off with Jaxson Hayes potentially defending the rim, potentially blocking shots, but then on the other end, he doesn't really provide the offensive production? Or are we better off just getting smaller and playing small ball, putting LeBron at the 5, essentially? Are we better going down that route? And, to a point, JJ Redick's realized that the Lakers kind of are better going down the route of just being smaller. Now, being smaller definitely can work. It could definitely have its advantages, but it could definitely get you in trouble as well, especially against teams that have, bigger bigs. They have guys that are very, very good and explosive at getting to the basket. We also know Luka Doncic is not known for playing defense. But I will say this, defense oftentimes is all about effort. If you play team defense, and we saw this yesterday against the Rockets, LeBron James stepped the hell up and played really, really good defense. High effort player on the defensive side yesterday. We saw Luka Doncic play really good defense as well. And to a point, I almost feel like Luka gets kind of overlooked for his defense. And I'm not saying he's a shutdown defender, but the guy's smart. And there's multiple moments in the, over the period of the game where this guy is either knocking the ball out, he's causing steals, he's making it hard on guys. And we've seen this happen over the past couple of games more so. And I think a part of that also is when, JJ Redick essentially challenges the big three. A part of that challenge is you got to play defense. And I almost feel like the Lakers have kind of responded over the past couple of games, playing better defense. And part of what Chris Vernon is saying is true, but I think part of it also comes down to if you can play team defense, LeBron's not, he can still defend the rim. And we saw that with that block shot. There was another moment in yesterday's game in the first quarter where he came and blocked the shot, right? Essentially saving 2 points. Rui Hachimura has been pretty solid at defending at the rim, although he's not a rim protector. But, he's tall, he's long, he's lengthy. And then I think you got guys like Dorian Finney-Smith who are long. Goodwin, I think his wingspan's like 6'10", 6', it's like something crazy, right? One of the longest wingspans for his size in the entire NBA. I think for what the Lakers might lack with having a true rim defender, they make up not only on the offensive side, but they make up with like the defensive guys, right? Like how many teams can go to 4 defensive players, like true defensive players? You got Dorian Finney-Smith, you got Gabe Vincent, You got Jordan Goodwin. You got Jared Vanderbilt. That's 4 different guys that could all play really good defense. That doesn't include LeBron James, who we know if he puts the effort in, he could be a really, really good defender as well. To me, I think the Lakers will be okay. And I want to just wrap it up with something that LeBron said talking about Jaxson Hayes yesterday. He said that I got to give a big, big shout out and credit to Jaxson Hayes, man. Him stepping in that void, losing Anthony Davis, it's a lot. He's just made great decisions. He's been able to catch it in the pocket and stay on balance. Jaxson Hayes has been unbelievable in his minutes, and we're going to need that from him. We know how it unlocks Luka as well when it comes to pick and roll with the lob threat. What LeBron James is saying is true. At the end of the day, Jaxson Hayes is a role player, and we shouldn't expect Jaxson Hayes to be anything more than that. Right? He's a guy that's going to catch those lobs. He's a guy that'll stand in the paint, try to block shots. He's a guy that's going to try to make it hard. And the thing with Jaxson Hayes is he's athletic. So he's a 7-foot athletic guy that can block shots, right? He can run with point guards and he'll block their shots from behind, as we've seen him kind of do in the past. And again, I know the minutes have kind of come down, but there will be games where he'll be asked to step in. And I think he'll be able to step in and potentially have success for the Lakers. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you guys think about Luka's elbow, LeBron's defense, Jaxson Hayes, and just kind of the minute rotations that we've been seeing over the past couple of games? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, consider subscribing, and I will see you guys next time with another video.